You have to sack him, Woodward. This is beyond a joke. I am fed up of saying this now. He has to be sacked as Manchester United manager. It is beyond a joke. They have absolutely annihilated us today. Absolutely annihilated us. And the point for me is, if there is... Look, I'm just looking at the league table. 11 points off 4th. 8 points off 5th. Negative goal difference. We've conceded more goals now by December the 16th than we did in the whole of the last 2 seasons. It is a disgrace. And the substitution at half-time for a young kid that he bought in the summer, a right-back who was brilliant last week, who everybody wants to play, he takes off Delo at half-time, he puts Darmian to right-back and brings Fellaini on. There's more than 4 things wrong with that one substitution. Darmian gets a nosebleed if he goes out of his penalty box. He cannot attack. Delo is the future. You sub him at 45 minutes. You knock a young kid's confidence at Anfield by taking him... Because if you subbed at half-time, it basically means you're shit. So he takes Delo off. He puts Darmian to right-back. And he brings Fellaini on. And we park the bus. We park the bus to the extent that we show no attacking intent at all. And we try to cling on to a 1-1 draw because we scammed an equaliser because their goalkeeper dropped it. And then we're going to sit back at Anfield. We needed to... Hello, Jose. We needed to win that game. A draw would have been nice to stop Liverpool going top, but we still would have been 10 points off 4th place. We needed to win that game. If ever, I'm so glad Sir Bobby Charlton was sat next to Ed Woodward. I'm so glad Sir Alex Ferguson was there. Please tell them to sack this circus act because he has got no idea. I actually think he's trying to get the sack on purpose. At second half, from minute 1, we parked the bus and sat back against Liverpool and we made them top of the league tonight. And our only plan was sit back, boot it long ball. And you know why Fellaini came on the pitch? So that De Gea had somebody to hit from long balls. Manchester United 2018. Put somebody in the middle of the pitch that we can hit with long balls. That's what we are. That is what we are. It is not bad luck that we are where we are in the league. We're probably a little bit lucky to be where we are. And how ironic it was when we went 2-1 down that Mata, Pogba and Martial all sat on the bench. Mata, Pogba and Martial were the 3 players that kept him in a job in October. That's your manager for you. Absolutely morals of a snake. Turns on people. Valencia was his captain, doesn't pick him anymore. And as for this Ash, I just want to talk about Ashley Young as well. The most banter fullback we've got at the club, who gets away with it because he had a game where he put Salah in his pocket. Did he put Salah in his pocket today? Did he put Mane in his pocket today? No, he was at fault for virtually every goal. The first goal, the chip from Fabinho, he's watching it going, duh, okay. And there's Mane, duh, okay. I'll give him 5 yards. I won't attack the ball. Oh, it's 1-0. But I did a tackle 2 minutes ago. I did a slide tackle 2 minutes ago. And we're going to give him a new contract.
Another pathetic, disgraceful performance today for Man United. We're at 6s and 7s. It was an embarrassment today, absolute embarrassment. The Liverpool fans next to us were singing they want Joseph to stay, and which all the other fans up and down the country are singing the same thing. At what point is someone going to grow a backbone in this fucking club and make a change? At what point? How much more results do we have to endure like this? Now you can look at this one of 2 ways. You can say the players should have given more, and yeah, I get that to a certain extent. But think about it. No matter what fucking 11 we put on the pitch, they all look clueless and do not know what they're doing. That derives from the training ground. It's as simple as that. We're seeing Liverpool, who have a manager who are playing front foot attacking football, have a clear direction of where they're going, and we're miles ahead of them. I fucking wish. We're miles behind them. Absolutely miles. The first 30 minutes was atrocious. We were just sitting ducks. It was like we were just waiting for Liverpool to score. You know, David Gea pulled off some good saves, and then eventually the deadlock was broken through Mane. One little ball over the top, he brings it down and he scores with a simple finish. But apart from the Alisson mistake that he made, the only thing we can say is that he's definitely not the best keeper in the world, which we as Manchester United fans already know, but fuck all that, who really cares, because we're a shambles. But apart from his mistake, we had nothing, we offered nothing, and then in the second half, I don't know if the lot came off for an injury or because he just wasn't having the best of games, which a lot of the team wasn't, to be fair, at that time. But then he went to the 4-4-3, and then we end up with a midfield that none of us really want to see, which is Matic, Fellaini and Herrera. There's not going to be any creativity in that. There's not going to be any dynamicness and mobility in that midfield, and that's exactly what we saw. The first 15 minutes of the second half was worse than the first 30 minutes of the first. We're absolutely sitting ducks, just getting peppered, just waiting for Liverpool to just exploit our weaknesses, and that's what they did in the end. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, Shaqiri's come off the bench and grabbed 2 goals. I think they took deflections. It was right up the other end, so I couldn't really see. But it looked like we were just poor defensively again. Now, listen, you can pass the buck to the players and say that they need to show more fight and show more passion to fight for this club, and I get that. But all we're seeing is a reflection of what's on the training pitch, which is fuck all. It's as simple as that, and I hate to swear and I hate to go on like this, but this is just how I feel coming here and having to witness what I've just seen. You know, look, if Mourinho had been in the job 6 months and spent no money, and these are the results we were getting, fair play, give the guy time, allow him to get players in that he wants. I understand that. You can't sit here after 2.5 years into his tenure when he spent over 400 million and you're still getting the output of that and not look to that area for the reason why we're so poor. Now, yes, we've got a problem from top to bottom. I understand that. Top to bottom, I do understand that. But for me, you've got to start looking at what's going on with these players in a day-to-day basis on the coaching field, and they're not playing for him. Paul Pogba didn't play today. Was that his fault we played so shit? There's been a lot of players, a lot of fans saying that, you know, the reason why we're playing better and we're better without Pogba and stuff. Was that his fault today? Fred was nowhere near the side today. I sat next to a fan in Valencia who was giving Fred stick all game. Yes, he had a stinker. I was the first to say that. But he's got no confidence. Was that Fred's fault today? No, it wasn't. When are people going to realise that the reason that we're playing in this manner, in this fashion, is because it's a direct result of what's going on the training pitch? I don't see any other reason as to how the players can be that bad. I keep hearing sometimes the players ain't good enough, or we've got some players in our squad who are not good enough. I understand that. But especially from our attacking players. What? All of these players are suddenly shit now? No, they're not. They're not. They're not buying into the system. They're not buying into the ethos. They're not buying into the style of play. They're not buying into it. I watched Liverpool, as soon as we had the ball, pressing in waves, pressing. I could see it time after time after time when they lost the ball. And we couldn't go anywhere. And yes, it's frustrating as fans sitting there in the terrace thinking, what's going on? Why, who's not keeping the ball properly? Well, we've just given it away again. It's because there's no fucking options. You know? And it shows that what players we put out, we still play the same way. Slow, lethargic, don't win the ball back quick enough. When we do win the ball back, we don't win it high up the pitch. It's the same problems. We can't defend. And now we're even worse than last year in terms of our defensive record. Everything's just going to shit. Someone at the club, I think needs to have a backbone and start making some serious changes. Don't get me wrong, Mourinho, and I'm going to reiterate this point, Mourinho is not the only issue at Manchester United. I understand that 100%. But for me to start to unpick this mess, I think you look at the front line, and the front line is the person working with the players every single day in training. That's where you start. Yes, we need a director of football. Yes, we want the Glazers out. Yes, we want maybe Ed Woodward out. And I say we, I'm talking about a lot of fans do as well. This is what I hear every week speaking to fans. See it on social media. There's a lot of fans who want the Glazers out and Ed Woodward out. And I understand those bigger problems. But for me, it starts at the manager. It starts with the person who has these players day in, day out. Because I'm seeing a bag of other managers in this league get way more out of their squads. And that's not down to the club giving him 400 million and the club making McTominay start at centre-half, or the club. No, it's not. That's down to Jose Mourinho. Those things of it.
Manchester United lose 3-1 to West Ham United. And just before we get into everything, because you might still be Mourinho in, I just want to say this. After 7 games in the Premier League, Manchester United have got 10 points. This now replicates what David Moyes did at Manchester United. He had 10 points after 7 games. But David Moyes had played Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester City in his first 7 games. This is year 3 for Jose Mourinho, and this is a manager who, whether you think the third year syndrome is just coincidence, he has absolutely lost the plot at Manchester United. 70 minutes gone, 2-0 down, takes Pogba and Martial off, who basically are playing in a formation that even Messi would fail in, brings Mata and Fred on, who've got no pace at all. Madness. But the biggest madness of this king of Manchester United at the moment was the selection of Scott McTominay, who I plead, everybody please don't destroy a young player's career. I don't think Scott McTominay's good enough for Manchester United, but he's been at the club since he was about 9 years of age. And since when is a player who's not played this season thrown in as centre-back for Manchester United? He played as a centre-back in a back three. He was at fault for the first goal. He played everyone on offside, onside, and then he lost his man. We get ourselves back to 2-1. Mark Noble's got the ball with 6 Manchester United players in front of him, plays a simple pass to put Arnautovic through one-on-one because Scott McTominay can't see the danger and doesn't pick the man up. Lindelof, an international centre-back, gets subbed and Scott McTominay becomes part of the centre-back too. What the hell is Jose Mourinho doing with Manchester United? What are you doing? Eric Bailly's career didn't die for this. He's on the bench. And Scott McTominay is playing centre-back for Manchester United. And Eric Bailly is on the bench. And Lindelof is being subbed to keep McTominay on as a centre-back. That is clueless. That is shockingly shit. It is absolutely crazy. We've lost that game because Scott McTominay played at centre-back. It's not the only reason we lost the game, but he cost us 2 goals. That's not his fault. That's Jose Mourinho. This is crazy. We are now at a situation at Manchester United where good players that Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea would consider starting are being benched or substituted because Jose Mourinho has lost the dressing room. He's lost the plot and he's lost the dressing room. He's having to rely on players that are just not good enough because he's lost the confidence of players that are good enough. He's lost the plot. Who goes to West Ham and from minute 1 plays a back 5 and a midfield 3 that's got 2 slow centre defensive midfielders in it? We had McTominay, Lindelof, Smalling as a back 3. Who the hell does that? Then we had Matic and Fellaini in front of them. And from minute 1 against West Ham, we sat back. We're 2-0 down at half time. We come out in the second half. He's still picking the same formation. With 20 minutes to go, he decides to change it. It's too late. It's absolutely too late. The approach to that game was absolutely unforgivable. It was a disgrace to the badge of Manchester United. But this was the quote that Jose Mourinho said yesterday, and I'm confused by this. I think we're going to play very well and win a very difficult match against a very good opponent. An opponent with great investment, with a champion manager, loads of experience and very talented players. Very difficult game, but I'm very positive. That was probably the most negative game I've ever seen approached by Jose Mourinho at Manchester United. He literally sat back from minute 1 and gifted the game to West Ham. It was stunningly terrible. And we got totally what we deserved. We deserved to lose that game of football. I'm absolutely shocked. This is not Arsenal and Wenger. This should not go on for decades and decades. The club need to take action now. When Eric Bailly, the best centre-back we've got, can't even get on the pitch. When Pogba and Martial are being substituted with 20 minutes to go when you're trying to win a game. When Fellaini, Matic, McTominay, Ashley Young are staying on the game when you're trying to win a game of football. It's gone. It's beyond broken. It is destructive. It is confusing. And I can't wait to see the fan cams from the away fans who've been so loyal to this man and has absolutely shit all over them. He's pulled you in. He's mugged you off. I mean, how did he get everyone back on side? Against Burnley, we played all out attacking. We won the game. Oh, he's going to change things. He's going to change things. What has he changed? What has he changed? Where is this? I'm going to play attacking football. We're really trying to play attacking football. You parked the bus against West Ham. You absolute fool. You parked the bus against West Ham United. Where is the justification to do that? A game we need to win. You park the bus against West Ham. You get everyone behind the ball. You play hoofball from David De Gea. What's the justification for that? How is that Manchester United? How is that ever what Manchester United should be doing? It is appalling. It's appalling. You can't defend it. But to go to West Ham, who are terrible at home, and park the bus. Who are you? What is going on in your head? And to compound it by playing Scott McTominay at centre-back. What are you doing? What are you doing? And to take Pogba and Martial off at 20 minutes, two of our best flair players. What are you doing? What are you doing to our club? Why are you doing it? It's absolutely ridiculous. And the football that we play is so ridiculously slow. It's so lethargic. It's so unbelievable. I'm almost lost for words, which, I'm never going to do. But the football was so slow. I mean, at times, Matic gets the ball. The build-up play is terrible. Ashley Young gets the ball, gets the opportunity to whip a cross in. The defenders don't like that. Lukaku and Fellaini are already in position. Whip the cross in early. He takes a touch, he loses the ball. Luke Shaw doing the same down the left-hand side. I don't know what we're doing on the training pitch. I don't know what Jose Mourinho is being paid to do.
At the end of the day, guys, we're in for a very, very rough season. From what I saw today, with the setup, it's like Mourinho went to blow caution to the wind against West Ham. A fan said to me today, which I was thinking in the stands, you're looking at Arnautovic, I know we was linked with him in the summer. We thought it was a laughing stock. I tell you what, it's a miles better player than Lukaku right now. Miles better, way better. It causes defence problems all day, holding on to the ball, causing us problems, running us ragged. We didn't have an answer for anything. Didn't have an answer. The whole Pogba-Mourinho situation is a mess. Yep, there's some things that Pogba should have done better, but Mourinho knew those cameras were there in that training session. He knew. He knew. So the same way he wants to out Pogba for talking in public and not doing it, it's the same way he needs to do that. The consistency's not there. Those players are not playing for him. They're not. The players are not playing for him. And the longer this continues, the longer we're going to slide. 0-0 draw at home to Valencia. I said before the game and even during the week, like, I don't feel like I know where our next win's actually going to come from. We've got Newcastle coming here on the weekend. What are we expecting from that? The place is, I feel like I can come on in and keep saying the same things every week. The same things every week. It's just a revolving door. Tactically poor, tactically inept. Players clueless. Like, I just feel like a broken record. You know, you look at the midfield today, we had no creativity, we had no one breaking between the lines. Pogba was trying to do little bits and pieces. You look at Matic and Fellaini, kept giving the ball away. He leaves Fred on the bench, no change. Leaves us to the last 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so, probably 15, to bring Martial on and impact the game. Alexis walks off the pitch like he's had a worldie of a game, like he wants a round of applause and an encore. Get off the pitch, Alexis. You've been shit. It's so frustrating. Fans screaming, attack, attack, attack again. Scholesie's come out before. It'd be so interesting to see how many fans jump on Scholesy maybe now for saying it. But he's come out and said he didn't think Mourinho would be in the job after Saturday. I'm very surprised that he's actually come out and said that, you know. But he has. The noises around here is just embarrassing. It's awful. And this team, it's untenable. For me, I think it's untenable. There's no way back from here. Those players, when we win the ball in defence, there's no transition. When Valencia got the ball in positions at the back, their transition was quick. You know, they moved from back to front very quickly. Us, we look clueless. I saw Eric Bailly put his foot on top of the ball and look at us, and he was pointing. He was literally pointing, saying, guys, where's our shape? The fans were getting on his back, but he's right. Where is our shape? Lukaku was absolutely missing. I saw him, I think he was moaning at Pogba or someone in the midfield saying, give me the ball at feet, give me the ball at feet. Why? You don't look after it. Valencia, I've already said his career's finished at Manchester United, but again, it proves why. It proves why. The players, they're not playing for Jose Mourinho anymore. I can't see it getting any better. I can only see it getting worse. I think the board should make the change. I really do. I really do. You know, I've been on the United stand over a year now, guys, and even through dark times, I've always said to myself, I don't really want to be that presenter who comes on here and says, you know, get the manager out, Jose out and all that. I don't want to be that person. You know me, I will always call it as I see. But like I said in the Flex and Rant show, if you're the manager of an establishment, yeah, the employee power is bigger than the manager power. Whether it's right or wrong, if you don't give your employees an environment that they want to come to work in and they want to work hard, then forget it, you're out the door. Like, if you don't accept that, then don't be a manager. That's what comes with being a manager. It's harsh, I know it, yes. No one man is bigger than the club, no one player is, but neither's a manager then. A manager's not bigger than the club because Jose's not buying into what the club's all about, is he? He's not. He's not. You know? Lack of changes, wouldn't even bring Fred off the bench. We had nothing. Pereira not even in the squad. Matt didn't come off the bench. He wasn't even trying to impact, trying to change the shape. Nothing. We were static. I counted what? How many shots on target? Maybe 3? And like the guy said in the fan cams, they weren't even real chances. No concrete chances, nothing. Against Valencia, and one fan said it's not actually a bad result. You know, a 1-1 draw, you look at it, we beat Young Boys. Of course it's a bad result. Of course that's a bad result. We've got to go and play these away from home. Who's confident about that? Then we've got Juventus to play twice. Who's confident about that? And then you're looking at it like our next winnable game in this Champions League group is Young Boys at home. It's just so frustrating right now, guys. Like I said, I feel like a broken record. I don't even want to keep coming on here and saying the same stuff.
Manchester United have drawn 2-2 with Southampton. And I know there'll be a lot of people saying Mourinho's got to go, he's got to go. I agree with you. I've been saying this for weeks. We've played Crystal Palace and Southampton and we've taken 2 points. We could have lost one of those games, won the other one and had a point more than what we've got at the moment. It's unacceptable. It's terrible. But you know he's going to spin it. You know he's going to spin it. You know that Marcus Rashford's individual brilliance. And for me, Marcus Rashford was man of the match because he was the only player on the pitch who actually did anything today. If it wasn't for Marcus Rashford, we would have lost that game. It probably would have gone 3 or 4-0. Marcus Rashford gets us back into it. In the first half, I think we were 2-2 at about 35 minutes. And in the ensuing hour after that, we did sod all. I mean, what's going wrong with this football club? You get back to 2-2 from 2-0 down. And then the second half, you come out like the first half was a dream. It's the same shit. I mean, Southampton weren't particularly good in the second half, but they had way more shots than us. We did nothing. Absolutely nothing in that second half. There was no urgency. There was no... I mean, why? Why did he do this? Can somebody answer me this? Why did he do this? Why did he play McTominay, Matic and Jones and then Fellaini in front of them? 4 giants and they had a couple of hobbits up front. Like, what was the point of that? And then he compounded the mistake by continuing doing it till the 90th minute. We went to Southampton, one of the worst teams in the league, and that has been confirmed by their performance tonight, and parked the bus. That is a joke. That is an absolute joke. We parked the bus. Every time they got the ball, we had 9 men behind the ball. It's a disgrace. He went to Southampton with the intention of not getting beat. We need points. We need points. We are going to be, tomorrow, we are going to be something like 8-9 points off 4th place. With the gaps got bigger since Palace and Southampton. We play Palace and Southampton and we've dropped points again. 2 points from 6. It's unacceptable. And because he's not losing, because we've got owners who think, well, we haven't lost, we got a point, we got to keep him, we're building something under this Mourinho guy. You know, we're not building anything. A draw is a dross. It's a loss. It's a loss of 2 points against teams that are at the other end of the table. There's no urgency from our manager. I think the team I think that team today was banter. And I think the performance that we produced under that team was banter. It was lethargic, it was slow. And these are his players. McTominay, Fellaini, Matic, Ashley Young, Lukaku, Luke Shaw. These are his run-through brick wall players. These are the people who at training are putting the cones out for him and they go into their little circle and laugh at his jokes. These are Mourinho's men and they produce crap performances like that. Marcus Rashford kept him in a job again, just like Martial did in October. Martial's been treated bad by Mourinho. Rashford's been treated bad by Mourinho. But it's these players who keep him in the job. And it's these players that we as fans cling on to because they are players that we believe are Manchester United players. Marcus Rashford today, after being called Trashford by some people, was absolutely superb today. We parked the bus and played a land of giants to try and stop Southampton scoring. If we'd just gone on the front foot with the likes of Mata, with the likes of Lingard, with the likes of Fred, we would have won that game 4 or 5-0. They're crap. But we went to Southampton and played for a bloody draw. We got back to 2-2. You think second half, momentum, we're going to go and win this 4-2. We sat back again. You know, we go 2-0 down. Rashford gets us back in it, and then for the next hour, we sit back. That's what I've just watched. We sat back. We get back to 2-2, not with 5 minutes to go, with 55 minutes to go, and we sit back and defend. Southampton were the better team in the second half. They created more chances. We were shit. We were defensive. What's going on? We've got players to go at them, but this manager won't let it happen. We're a bloody embarrassment, and just because we've drawn, people won't take it as a loss. Take it as a bloody loss. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. We better bloody beat Arsenal on Wednesday because that's bigger than football. That's about sitting them down and their knobhead fans. You know what I'm talking about. But That today gives me no hope. It gives me absolutely no hope at all. And there's no excuse. Mourinho will come out afterwards and say I only had one fit centre-back. Well, if you've got one fit centre-back, attack. Don't put 4 bloody giants at the back so it nullifies us. I mean, Pogba was bad today, let me be honest with you. He wasn't very good for United. He wasn't. But you take Marcus Rashford out of that team and that game was lost. It was a one-man team performance. And yes, Lukaku and Herrera scored, but I would have scored those goals. They were on a plate. I mean, Lukaku's goal, I don't even think that was a shot. I think he was trying to control it. That was Lukaku's first touch in the back of the net. That wasn't a shot. He was trying to control it. Lukaku nearly injured himself. He went to control the ball, he trod on it and nearly did his knee in. He's a banter forward. He's absolutely terrible. The amount of crosses, the amount of first touches. There was a brilliant ball from Pogba to Lukaku. All he had to do was control it and pass. Rashford was in one-on-one. First touch goes straight to a Southampton player. So much wrong with that performance. And I tell you what, you are wearing wool over your eyes if you do not see that that game was a lost game if it wasn't for one player. Marcus Rashford, who got so much stick on Tuesday night. Marcus Rashford on Tuesday night should have had a hat-trick, but he gets himself into those positions. I'm telling you, the lad's talent. He should be playing up front. He should be playing at number 9. And if we're not going to give him the opportunity, get out, Marcus. Go on loan to Bournemouth, because I think he's a great player. He's a number 9. Martial should be on the left. Rashford should be up front. Sanchez should be on the right. That should be our front through. Get rid of that Lukaku player. He's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. He's indicative of the whole team. Lethargic, lazy, and they get away with it because they make Mourinho his cup of tea every morning. And that's it. Mourinho's got his favourites. Ashley Young, Fellaini, McTominay, Matic, Lukaku, the famous 5. Well, they all played today and we were rocking horse shit. We were terrible. Absolutely. And rocking horse shit doesn't exist, by the way, because they didn't exist. They were rubbish. And Mourinho didn't bother to change it. And I'm fed up of it. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's not a bad result. Well, it is a bad result. Because 1 point against a relegation team when we are miles off top 4, we're playing catch up. We're not the team to be caught. We're playing catch up. And we've took 2 points from 6 games against banter sides. Banter. Crystal Palace. The equivalent of an all-you-can-eat buffet for free. It's a free ticket. It's a free meal. Southampton, managed by Mark Hughes, banter club, and we've took 2 points from 6. He should be gone. He should be absolutely gone.
Jose, you clown. You absolute clown. Absolute clown. That team selection, I tweeted out before the game, if you don't win this game, you got a lot of questions to answer for. How can you go 5 at the back, against Southampton? Second bottom of the league, struggling for confidence. Sit back and play defensive football. The players didn't look comfortable in the system, and even the players didn't look comfortable in the system. But if you look at the actual how we were playing in that system, it looked like they hadn't even worked on it. We played that same system against West Ham, got slapped there as well. Pathetic. Second half, I'm just fast forwarding from the first half because the first half was a shambles. Yes, we got back to 2-2. I understand that, but when we scored the equaliser, I didn't even feel like crazy, mad joy, excitement. Like I didn't even feel that. I just thought, this guy set us up here to just as toast. How the hell can McTominay be playing in a back 3? And we've got centre-halves on the bench, by not even in the squad. How does that work? How the hell does Mata not get near that pitch? How the hell does Pereira not get near that pitch? How the hell does Fred not get near that pitch? It's utter nonsense from Jose. He's taking the piss out of us. He is. That's the only way. Lukaku, apart from the goal, nothing all game. I can't believe he stayed on the pitch over Rashford. Rashford got 2 assists and was running the lines and trying to make things happen. Takes him off. It's just nonsense. I haven't even heard what bullshit he's going to talk about in the press conference, but I just know it's going to be some sort of bullshit because that's what I'm used to with Jose. I cannot understand the logic and the thinking behind that team selection today. And then even from that, the reluctance to change it. The absolute reluctance to change it. We're looking at it in the second half. I'm thinking, well, do you know what? We've managed to claw it back to 2-2. We're probably going to do the great escape, and people are going to say, oh, this is why Jose can still do it. Absolute bollocks. In the second half, we saw absolutely nothing. Southampton keeper didn't have a save to make. It was actually Southampton that was probably knocking on the door slightly more than us, trying to force the issue more than us. The players just did not look comfortable. We had square pegs in round holes. Scott McTominay, another thing as well. This is completely a bit off topic. In the wall, when Southampton scored, I don't know if you lot have seen it, Scott McTominay's kneeling down fucking sniffing Lukaku's ass. What the fuck's he playing at? What was he doing? I know it had no bearing on the goal, but that's another thing that just pissed me off today. Sorry. But yeah, the performance, it was just dire, absolutely dire. And we shouldn't even have been in a situation where we're scrapping back from 2-0 down against a team who's second bottom in the league. We should have come here today and got Mark Hughes sacked. That's what should have happened. That's what should have happened. But that team selection, that personnel, that formation, pathetic, absolutely pathetic. He's saying that we were going to get top 4. He thinks we're going to get top 4 by Christmas. Really? Seriously, Jose? Seriously? I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. Like, that was embarrassing. Even if we would have come back and won, I'll still be saying this what I'm saying now. It's just not good enough. And I'm fed up with this whole optimistic. There was a guy next to me sort of arguing with another guy saying just support the team because the fan next to me was saying Lukaku was absolute dog shit. That's what he was saying. He was saying he's poor. Yes, he scored a goal, but what has he done? Did you see Lukaku trip over the ball today? Please tell me you've seen that. We've got a 75 million striker. He's tried to gather the ball and go running with it. He's tripped over it. Last week against Young Boys, he left the ball behind. This time he's tripped over it. And I think he's injured himself from it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We got Arsenal next. Tough game. There's a lot of United fans who think, oh, Arsenal, we always beat them. That's an easy game. No, it's not. We can't even beat Palace at home. We can't even beat Southampton away. We struggle against Young Boys. We don't have easy games anymore. So we need to wake up and smell the coffee. They're not going to make a change. They're not going to get rid of Jose Mourinho off the back of that result. I'm under no illusions of that, so I'm not trying to scream for that. But I expect to see more, man. I expect to see more. Southampton are bottom of the league, second bottom of the league. And we come here and made them have confidence. They had a go on us. Their fans probably looked at this game and thought, you know what? We can probably put in a decent performance against Man United. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. By the way, I did say as well, it's my birthday tomorrow. Thanks, Jose, for fucking it up.
Manchester United lose 2-1 to Valencia, played off the park. But you know what, actually, we nearly scammed it. We nearly scammed it again, didn't we? Manchester United nearly scamming a result because we start playing when everyone else has took their foot off the pedal. I mean, how embarrassing are we? I mean, I'm actually, for the first time ever, actually satisfied that we didn't scam a draw out of that. So Mourinho can come out and say, we never stop trying to the end. That's the character of this club. I was about trying from the start. I was about actually having some tactics, some identity, some fluidity, some philosophy. And how ironic that Paul Pogba played crap for 70 minutes, but then when we went for it, he suddenly looks like the player he actually is. That little chip to get Mata in, and Mata should have equalised, let's be honest, was world class. And Pogba looked great in the last 15 minutes. In the first 75, he looks lethargic, he looks lost, he's got no options. But then, when we go for it, Pogba looks absolutely amazing. And I actually thought Pogba's overall game was quite good. All right, he missed the chance, but it was quite good. But there is your answer. As cold as day. United go for it and some of our players look good. But for 99% of the season, we play the shit that we would do when we were 2-0 down. Where it's pragmatic, where we're not creating chances, where nothing's going on. And Mourinho, I think he must have been glued to his chair tonight. He never got off his chair once. The last few games he's been getting off his chair, chucking bottles about. But today he couldn't be arsed. So what a surprise that the players can't be arsed. I mean, all I would say is please, and this is falling on deaf ears, please go. Please leave our club. Please, the board, do something about it. It's not a Mourinho out rant. It's not get out of my club because I've lost, it's straight after the game and I'm frustrated. It really is a total and utter, measured, pragmatic, Mourinho will like that, please leave the club. Please go. This is only getting worse. It is only getting more embarrassing. You're not turning it around. All right, it might cost us 20 million to do it, but just do it. Please, let's start building our football club again because it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. Manchester United 2, Arsenal 2, and look, you know what? That is shambolic. I think there will be fans tonight who are going to get sucked in by, I don't know what. I don't know what you're getting sucked in by because actually, look at the game. How many clear-cut chances did we have apart from the Martial goal where Arsenal went to sleep at the back? I mean, the Lingard equaliser, BT Sports didn't even show it because they were too busy showing the Arsenal goal. Arsenal went to sleep. The old Cardinal sin, they made a couple of mistakes and Lingard was quick to react and we snatched the second goal. Apart from that, we were never going to score. Aubameyang missed a sitter and De Gea made a worldie. You know, that was the best chance of the game and they missed it. And then straight after that, Mkhitaryan hits it again. De Gea made another save from Aubameyang and another one in the last 10 minutes. Arsenal went for the win. And they should have got the win. They had the chances to win the game. What did we do in the last 20 minutes? Martial went off injured, fine, fair enough. Lukaku's a waste of space. The Fellaini sub was happening because he thought we were 2-1 down and he didn't dare change it. And Pogba, he ain't interested in you, Mourinho. You know, you've lost Pogba. Don't bother using him. I like Pogba. He ain't playing for you. The subs killed us. But when, you know, this is what we've become. People will walk out of that game and go, oh, it's all right, we didn't get beat. We've taken 3 points from the last 9. We've taken 3 points from Crystal Palace at home, Southampton away and Arsenal at home. 3 points from 9 would be the same as winning 1 and losing 2. And if we'd done that, you'd be saying get him out. So you should be saying it anyway. 3 points from 9 is terrible. But the weak way that we were shitting ourselves in the last 20 minutes against Arsenal, they're going for 4th. And we're terrified protecting a point. We did nothing in the last 20 minutes. There was no gamble. There was no effort to win a game that was a must-win game. The only effort to stop us losing that game was from the man between the sticks again, who yet again, despite making an absolute clanger in the first half, is hands down, and hands and feet are absolutely apt, hands down man of the match, David De Gea, because the saves he made kept us a point. But he's got to go. He's got to go. I don't need to rant at you. I don't need to say anything else other than nothing has changed from before this game to after this game. A draw was the worst possible result. It's the worst possible result because our board will not sack him. If we'd won it, at least we could have said we won the game. If we lose it, we're demanding he's got to go. But why are we not demanding it after a draw? That was tepid. And you know what? I'm going to go in on Matic again because Pogba's been called a virus. He's been called this, that and the other. I'm never going to let it go. I am never going to let it go about Matic. You watch Matic. He is magnetic to our centre-backs. He doesn't need to do that. He's being told to do that. He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to play that close to our... We had 3 centre-backs and Matic is holding hands with him. That's 4. That's 4 players back in our own half. It's not good enough, and he's not very good either. The whole point of a 3-5-2, and I like the 3-5-2, I think it's the best formation United have ever played under Mourinho, and it's no surprise that we did okay tonight. But you don't need a CDM in a 3-5-2. You don't. You just play 2 normal midfielders. The best team lot drew, and their name's Arsenal. They had the better chances, and they went for it. And they're the away team. And you know why they went for it? Because they're worried that Spurs have won. They're probably not aware that Chelsea have lost. And they know they're in a battle for top 4. And they are bad. And that's what I'm trying to get the message through here. Arsenal tried to win that game because they're trying to get in the top 4. What are we doing as the home team? We're 8 points behind Arsenal. If we want to get top 4, we've got to beat the teams who are trying to get in the top 4. And you've certainly got to beat them in the home game. And there we are in the last 20 minutes, letting the team we've got to beat to close the gap on top 4 go for it whilst we defend. It's baffling. Absolutely baffling. And you know what it is? It's the fear factor of Mourinho. He didn't want to lose, so he made sure he drew. But we needed to win. We needed to win that game. And there was nothing. There was no shots in the last 20 minutes to do that. Manchester United lose Juventus 1-0 in what is probably one of the most annihilation results I've ever seen for a 1-0. It could have been 3, 4, 5-0 comfortably. Absolutely comfortably. First thing I'm going to say to you is, if your team is playing shit, outplayed and absolutely shit, and your style of football is crap, and you're being played off the park for most of the game, and somebody needs to tell Mourinho he can make subs. Why did we buy Fred? £50 million ornament. Tahith Chong on the bench. You got United fans going, Chong's on the bench. Mourinho's doing it the United way. What did I say to you? If he plays, fine. If he doesn't play, that's Mourinho ticking a little box to mug and con you all again, so you think Mourinho plays youth. He had never had any intention of giving Tahith Chong 10 seconds in that game. It was a token sub that everyone would go, Chong's on the bench, Chong's on the bench. Never used him. I never expected that. But to not bring Fred on, to not try Pereira, What's going on with Mourinho? He's either lost the plot or he doesn't give a shit. Mourinho out ASAP. ASAP, get him out of our club. He hasn't got a bloody clue what it's about, what we're meant to be, and that was evident to me in that game today. We expected as a minimum that we would give that game a go. And that's the worst thing about that game today. That's the worst thing about that game today, is at no point did we even attempt to play that game. We didn't even try. We never even tried. Half time, we've not even had a proper shot on goal. They've got 70% possession. They've passed the ball 4 times more than us. Second half, no change in tactics, no change in personnel, same thing. I tell you what, if Dybala hadn't had such a crap second half, they would have won that 3 or 4-0 because they had so many times to put us to bed and they didn't want to do it. I think they wanted to humiliate us. But the worst thing of all is if a team like Juventus, who deserve to win 3 or 4-0, is only 1-0 away in the last 10 minutes, you make substitutions, you go gung-ho. This is the Champions League. You've got to win your home games. There was no intent to even try and get a draw in that game. Paul Pogba had a bit of brilliance that hit the post. But apart from that, there was no overloading the box with players. There was no committing the fullbacks forward. It was the same lethargic crap from minute 1 to minute 93 with no intention to win the game. And if the board cannot see how crap we are, tactically, effort-wise, dictated to by that manager, and they keep him for another day longer, I do not understand what our club is all about. There is no excuse. There is no excuse. He comes to a game dressed like the Cadbury's Milk Tray Man. I tell you what, if he's Cadbury's Milk Tray Man, he ain't getting any chocolate no matter what the lady wants. Nothing.
Pathetic performance. You know, I'm not even going to say it's back to square one again because we've stayed on square one, and I think that's the realisation today. After the Juventus game, when I was excited, I was happy, I wanted to celebrate the win, and I said then I didn't want to dissect the performance too much. I just wanted to enjoy the win. And to be honest with you, the reason why I said that was because I was going with my heart then, but really my brain was saying we didn't play well again. We conceded too many chances. Same with the Bournemouth game, and it's just a massive slap in the face. Not even a wake-up call, because it was like this was waiting to happen. Now look, Pogba was injured. I understand that. Players get injured, that's fine. But when you see the midfield 3 that we had, which was Matic, Fellaini and Herrera, the warning signs are there from then. I was very surprised not to see Alexis Sanchez in the starting lineup. Now, some of you may be quick to say, Flex, you didn't want him in the side. You've been asking for him to be dropped all the time. Yes, from the fucking left, I have. But up front, he's proved in the last couple of games that he can stretch teams and that he can start to improve, and he needed to run a game. So I was very surprised to see him on the bench. Unless, I'll take it back, if there was a niggle or an injury where he couldn't have played the full 90. I'll take that back. Juan Mata, he's been, playing very well recently as well. He could have played in the central area. We had Fred, who's £50 million worth of player. He could have played in the central area. And Pereira can't even get in the side. He could have played in the central area. But to play 3 defensive midfielders there like that, with City's 3 in there, we were going to be in trouble. The naivety in defending was shocking. And to be fair, the first 5 minutes we were horrendous. We were nervous. We were shaky. And the instructions were clear. Sit back. Park the bus. Don't put any pressure on City. Yes, City are a fantastic footballing side, but we gave them way too much respect. And that's the thing that pisses me off most. It's just Jose's been saying in the press conferences, some comments where I thought, you know what, yeah, maybe we're getting a bit of the old Jose back. But where he said that we want to play attacking football and he wants to take the reins off the players, I don't see it. I'm not seeing it. Even in the games that we've come back and won, I haven't really seen it. Rants made a good point in his fan cam about talking about looking at the fixtures game by game, and the problem with doing it like that is that you don't see the bigger picture. You don't see the full problems that are going on in it, and you get clouded and you end up papering over cracks because you have a knee-jerk reaction to a win, and then you don't see the full picture. The full picture is even the games we've been winning have been the same level of performance. Even against the Bournemouth, when I done the Bournemouth review, I said the same thing. I said that performance wasn't anything different than what we've seen over the last 18 months. Shit in the first half, better in the second. Whereas today it was poor in both halves. We didn't have a shot in 90 minutes. Not one. I'm not counting that Chris Smalling header that went over the bar or fell on top of the net. We didn't have a shot. Martial tried to shoot, got blocked. Other than that, we didn't create anything. There was a couple of little passages of play in the second half after we got the equaliser from the penalty. After we got the goal back from the penalty. Couple of little passages of play where we passed the ball quickly and put a bit of injection of pace into our game. And you looked like we could start to hurt teams, but it was never sustainable. It was never consistent. You know, Lukaku came on. I haven't seen it back. I wasn't even sure if it was a definite penalty. But, you know, after that, you're thinking, okay, you've been out with the side for a while. What can you offer? Didn't hold on to the ball at all. The same old shit. You know? Martial didn't have a good game. And Matic, where do I start with him? He was absolutely shocking today. Awful. Fellaini was our best player today. He was our best player. You know? And that just says it all. You know, fair play to him. He had a decent game. He didn't do anything special, but that just shows how shit we were, where Fellaini was our best player today. We were nervous at the back. City were just picking us off, and like I spoke to a gentleman earlier, he said that he felt that City could just go up that little gear as soon as they wanted, and they did do that. You know, even after we got back into it with the penalty, we didn't even kick on from there. There was nothing. I didn't have that sense of never say die attitude. Where was it today? Was it even there in the first place? These are all the things you get sucked into, people saying you turn the corner. No, we have not turned the corner. And this is not me flip-flopping or knee-jerking. It's not. It's just me just being real. It's true. You know, you can say we done it. It all started from when we got a point against Chelsea, which we should have won the game. But really, it was poor defending and it was the same thing. Bournemouth, same thing. We're just getting out of jail, man. And there's only so long you can get out of jail for. The only positive thing, I say positive, the only true thing Jose has said in the last week is where he was saying, you know, we need to be better at starting games. Because you can't just keep going down and coming back and losing games. And that luck ran out today. That shows against proper teams like that, you might get away with it. Luckily against Juventus, because it was lucky. But you can't keep relying on that. You can't keep relying on starting games shit and relying on miracles to keep fucking coming back. It's not going to happen. Very disappointing today. I stupidly said we'll win 2-1. You know, you saw what I said. I did say that I was probably thinking with my heart instead of my head. But especially once I saw that starting lineup, I knew he was in for trouble. And I said that if we were going to play that midfield free, Fellaini would have to play almost behind the striker. Marcus Rashford up front, he was like sitting on top of the centre circle. Sorry, sitting above our box, that deep. You know, when we tried to break, we couldn't break. Yeah, because we were defending so deep, just allowing City to have the ball. I get it. You can't go gun-ho, and I'm not saying run after every single ball because you will get played around, but at least have some sort of urgency. We just had no fight.
Mo Adder in the live comments, comment of the day in the first few seconds, disgraceful tactics. Manchester United lose the Manchester derby 3-1 to Manchester City. And I very rarely would say something like this, but we got absolutely embarrassed. That was an embarrassment. That was not a derby. That was not a derby because we never had any intention of treating it like a derby. A derby is a great leveller because you go for it, and whether they're a better team than you, you go for it. You use the passion, you fight, and because of the locality and because it's a derby, it levels it up. If you sit back and defend and park the bus, and invite pressure, that's not a derby anymore. That's trying not to lose the game and hopefully trying to scrape a draw. It was bloody embarrassing. And I tell you what's embarrassing as well, is that when I did my live reaction the other night, there was so many people, because we scraped a lucky win against Juventus, saying, Mourinho's back, Mourinho's the man, he's the one we want. He's a bloody embarrassment to the name Manchester United. He's mugged you off. He's put his rod in the line, he's put a maggot in on it, and you've all bitten on it. All the ones who were Mourinho out a week ago. He's mugged you off. He's mugged you off with late lucky winners against Newcastle, with beating Bournemouth from being from behind, with scamming it against Juventus. He's absolutely mugged us all off. Friday in his press conference, we're going to go toe-to-toe with Man City. He parks the bloody bus from minute one. And that third goal, Jurassic Park tactics, because it belongs in the Stone Age, what we're doing. It's a bloody embarrassment to the name Manchester United. And I am 100% Mourinho out, and I have been Mourinho out for 3 months, and I'm going to continue to be Mourinho out. Because even when he beats Palace and Young Boys and people start going, oh, I'm Mourinho in again, we've got Liverpool in December. He's going to park the bus again like he did today. When the big games come, Mourinho bottles it and reverts to a type of football that hasn't been relevant for over 5 years. You cannot what are we paying him for? What are we paying him for? Why do we pay this man money? when he's not been relevant for 5 years. His style of football belongs in a bloody encyclopedia and it needs filing in the British Library and forgetting about. Go and collect dust. Your shit football doesn't work anymore. Anybody with an ounce of football knowledge knows that you don't beat Man City by parking the bus. This is a team, Man City are a team that were going to be invincible last season. They beat everybody last season apart from, and correct me if I'm wrong, the only people to beat Man City to beat Man City last season was Manchester United and Liverpool. Everybody else got beat. And most of them, 95% of those teams, parked the bus. Because if you park the bus against Man City, they love the ball like their favourite pet. They'll just pass, move till they get in the box and they'll create a chance. You can't park the bus against them. You can't park the bus against them. And Mourinho, what's his plan today? Park the bloody bus. You can't do that. The way to beat Man City, Liverpool did it. Even we did it. We did it last season. You get hold of the midfield, you fight their midfield, and you go on the front foot. Now, all right, we have no Paul Pogba today, but everybody knew as soon as he picked that team, we were in trouble. Now, Fellaini was man of the match. Marouane Fellaini was man of the match for Manchester United today because every cross that came in, he got his head on it and he put his foot in. But I'd sell him tomorrow. I'd sell him tomorrow for a packet of Monster Munch because it tells you what the problem is with Manchester United. When Marouane Fellaini is the man of the match because of his defensive work, it shows you what the problem is. Fellaini, as an attacking force, is only good if you're going to pump balls into the box. Well, we didn't do that today. The midfield of Matic, Fellaini and Herrera is, you know what? Martial, Lingard, Rashford, Sanchez, Mata, when they came on, were dead men walking. They were dead men walking because they are going to have to just run around all game, living off nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because that midfield three is crap. You've got Matic and Fellaini, who are slow and can't pass the ball more than 5 yards, and it's always backwards or sideways. And you've got Herrera, who couldn't have passed a parcel today. That midfield had no flair, it had no creativity, and the front three were basically just our first line of defence. We had no creativity in that midfield. Mourinho's a multi-millionaire because of what he gets paid by Manchester United. And every Manchester United fan who saw that team come out an hour before kickoff was like, how the bloody hell are we going to create anything with that midfield? We're playing against a team of hobbits who treat the ball like a magnet and move the ball around very, very quickly. You're playing a couple of giants who are slow and don't pass the ball around. You know, it's so basically obvious that midfield was going to be our downfall. And it was our downfall. Matic has been shit for 6 months and Mourinho picks him every game. Why is that? You know, Fred cost 50 million quid. We've got no flair in our midfield today and he still doesn't pick Fred. Why park the bus when you've got no defence? You know, it's all right having a bus. But as I said in the watch-along, it's full of L's. Because we can't drive it. We haven't got anybody able to drive the bus in the first place to park it. We've just got all these plonkers running around, clueless. The amount of times teams are carving us open. The 1-2 with Lindelof and Aguero and the touch of Lingard on the pass. It's just banter. The whole thing is banter. Manchester United 2, Chelsea 2, and I'm bloody furious. I'm absolutely furious. That feels like a loss. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. I want to talk about Mourinho's future at Manchester United because I know there'll be a lot of fans saying, "Oh, let's keep Mourinho." But that is, it's just bloody base. This dog and duck pub football on a Sunday. This is the last 30 seconds of a game. The last 30 seconds to get a result that would change the course of our season. Maybe keep our manager in a job. Maybe boost our whole fan base to start bloody believing again. Why don't we win the first header that David Luiz gets on? But then to not win the second shot and the third shot. I mean, David Luiz hits the post from a header that we should have won that header. Then somebody else has a shot. Then Ross Barkley puts it in. Nobody reacts. This is the last 30 seconds of a game. You should be running through bloody brick walls. And Luke Shaw, Pogba, Lindelof, where are you? What are you doing? Like, Luis heads it, hits the post, somebody else has a shot, then Barkley, unopposed. We've got nobody back. Nothing happening. It's a bloody joke. That would have been a massive result for us. And yet again, schoolboy defending does us in. The first goal from Rudiger, schoolboy defending. David Luiz in the second half, free header from a free kick, schoolboy defending. This isn't things happening on the break. We've got our whole team back for these set pieces. 3 set pieces they scored 2 goals from because we couldn't defend a picnic from a pack of ants. It's a ridiculous situation for United and it feels like a loss. That would have been a brilliant Saturday. That result's like a loss to me. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable at all. And you can pretend that a draw against Chelsea's great. We could be 10th tonight. We could be 10th in the Premier League after 8 games. We could drop down the table tonight. But you sit at home going, we're going places under Jose. We're going places. Yeah, we're going mid-table because we can't defend. Doesn't matter what you do for 45 minutes attacking. If you're only playing half a game and then you can't defend for 90 minutes, you're not going to win games. You know, we might scrape last-minute winners against Newcastle, but we should have won that game, and we didn't win it because we can't bloody defend. It's embarrassing.
Gutless, spineless, clueless. They're all the things. Outclassed. Jose outclassed by his former player. Shocking performance. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. I don't really like to come on here and rant. That's not really my style. I like to give, 2 sides to the story. There's only one side to the story. That was shit. It was awful. We get the goal after 3 minutes, fine, good goal, well worked. Then after that, we had nothing. Derby were calm, composed on the ball. They're in the Championship, for God's sake. I thought we were the Championship side. Martial coming into the side today, he had a very good first half, I thought. The only good moments that we had were from him. As soon as he touched the ball, he made something happen. Going down the outside of players, coming inside, put it on a plate for Lukaku, who missed. Involved in the first goal, fair enough. Just didn't kick on. Nothing in midfield. At the back, Jesus. Phil Jones, I spoke about Valencia being officially done, and I know his thing was on the cards. Phil Jones, again, he's another player who's been done for ages, but that was awful. Awful. Nothing to do with the penalty. Forget that. He's a centre half. I wouldn't even expect him to score. Forget about the penalties. We shouldn't even be relying on, a last minute Fellaini header to get us back in the game against them. Sergio Romero's kicking was horrendous all game. Awful. And I haven't seen it back, so I don't know whether he had to come and do that. I don't know if it was the defender's fault for even letting the striker be one-on-one. Because a lot of fans were getting on Romero's back saying, why the hell is he coming out and doing that? But I haven't seen it back. But then, to be fair, we started playing after that when we were at 10 men. Fellaini comes on for all the stick he does get. He saved us today. Well, for a certain bit to get it through to extra time. Sorry, to penalties. At the end of the day, the players are not playing attacking football. They don't have a clue. They're playing sideways. They're playing backwards. We've got no periods of sustained pressure. Derby County, Frank Lampard, first season managing, and outsmarts Jose, a seasoned pro who has a winning track record. How far does that go? How far does Jose was good? How far do we lean on that? I spoke to Noel Gallagher yesterday at the free-for-alls. He said something that stuck in my head. They never thought that Liverpool would have gone, 20-odd years without winning, the top division, Premier League. But he also said you never thought United would go 6 years without winning it. So that's the thing you got to think about. How long do we look at these things? How long before we just become a historical club? We used to be good, because that's what I feel with Jose. People are saying, he's got a great CV, he's a winner, but he isn't anymore. He got outfought, out-tacticked, outdone by a former player, Frank Lampard, with Championship players. David Nugent up front. Lukaku, yes, again, he was feeding off scraps, but the things that he does have to do, yes, there's 2 sides to the arguments. He needs service. Lukaku's a striker that I've been saying he needs to be baby-fed. I come out and said about the Lacazette thing when I said I think he's a better footballer than him. He can't make chances out of nothing. People showing me clips from Everton. I don't give a shit what he done at Everton. What's he doing now? Little things, lazy, offside. Little things, not looking after the ball, passing, misplacing passes. He wasn't the only one to them. I'm not just digging him out. It was an awful team performance. But I'm just saying, when your backs are really against the wall and you need your number 9 to look after the ball and get you going, it just didn't happen today. He was unlucky to hit the post. I'll give him that.
Manchester United have lost in the Carabao Cup on penalties to Derby County at Old Trafford. Mourinho out with conviction. Look, I don't know what people want me to say, because the initial reaction after a result is always going to be heated because it's the initial reaction. Look, I'm furious with that. Why is Phil Jones taking penalties? Why could Eric Bailly or the goalkeeper not take it? You know, Phil Jones running around in a pair of pink boots. He looks like he's got nothing on his feet. He's never going to score a penalty. We may as well have not took that penalty. But the reality is, to bring it back to some semblance of seriousness, because Phil Jones taking a penalty is banter. It is banter. That's it. Game over. But bringing it back to some seriousness, look, even if we'd won on penalties, we got to penalties because Fellaini is decent in the penalty box when you're chasing a game, and Dalot put something in from the right we've never seen for 6 years, which was a decent delivery. But United were crap in the second half. We mirrored the Wolves game. We went 1-0 up, and in the second half we didn't come out. We were crap. And this isn't even Wolves, who are newly promoted, spent a bit of money, ex-championship team. This is Derby County, championship team, with a brand new manager who's only had about 6 games. Played us off the park. First half I felt they were the better team. Second half, played us off the park. We play crap football. We play banter players who shouldn't even be wearing the shirt. And there is no urgency there at all. We got absolutely played off the park in that second half. Played off the park by Derby County, who pass the ball, pass and move, press, pass out from the back. And we couldn't pass a parcel. We are terrible. We are a terrible, terrible, terrible football side at the moment. And at some point, you have to start looking at the manager. You have to start looking at the manager.